Hi, this is Alimayo Arango of littleguy.cgi.com, and today I want to show you how to model a full male mesh in Blender 2.72b. So let's get started. Okay, if this is your first time in Blender, I recommend you go to File, User Preferences, go to Input, and then choose Select with left click. Blender's default select is with right click, and this may confuse you if you're coming from Adobe or other 3D programs. Also, while you're in here, click Add-ons, scroll down, and what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have check marks next to these add-ons. Mesh F2 right here, Mesh Inset Polygon, Mesh Loop Tools, and also Mesh Relax. To navigate your view in Blender, look all the way to your left and look down to the Navigate tab. When you click the Navigate tab, you'll see different buttons that reflect different views that you can choose from in Blender. So if I, for instance, click left right here, Blender will quickly jump to the left view. These navigation buttons are particularly nice if you happen to be on a laptop that doesn't have a full keyboard. To manually manipulate your view, if you hold your middle mouse button, you can just hold and turn your mouse and you'll see that your view will, twist and turn accordingly. Okay, in Blender, there's two main modes that you operate in. There's object mode, which you come into object mode by default when you first come into Blender. And in object mode, you can move your entire mesh around, the full quote-unquote object. When you click here, you can go into edit mode. In edit mode, you have access to move and manipulate your vertices, edges, and faces, of which you can select your vertices, edges, and faces here. Most of our time spent modeling this male mesh will be in edit mode. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is to press W. This will bring up your specials menu. You're then going to choose Subdivide Smooth. Once you select Subdivide Smooth, if you look all the way to your left, you'll see additional options right here. You want to take this number of cuts up to 3. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is select your front view. I'm going to hit A to deselect all of the vertices. With the vertices select on, I'm going to click this vertice right here. Now with that vertice selected, let me zoom in just to make sure you can see where it's at. You're going to go to your right view just by clicking here. You're then going to press either O to turn on your proportional edit tool, or you can click here and click enable. When this proportional edit tool is on, what's nice about it is it allows you to manipulate more than one vertex at a time. This is particularly good for dealing with organic shapes and objects. Okay, when you first turn on your proportional edit tool, normally you don't see anything happens. A good way to see the area of influence, and the area of influence affects how many vertices you're dealing with, is by pressing G. Now G allows you to move vertices, but G in this case, the main reason why I just hit G just now was just so we could see this area of influence right here, that circle. When I roll my mouse wheel, I can increase this area of influence. If you do not have a mouse wheel to roll, if you're on a laptop, you can also use, I believe, the page down and page up key to change your area of influence. For right now, what you want to do is pull down the vertex we selected to about here, and basically we're forming a chin. I'm just rolling my mouse wheel to zoom back, and you basically want to have just the start of your head looking like this. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to hold our middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to press A to deselect the vertex was in the front. Sometimes you'll see me go press A and you'll see everything select, and then I'll press A again to deselect everything again. That's just to make sure that there's no vertices selected out of view, so that when we start pushing and pulling vertices that we won't see anything happen that we don't want to happen. Okay, now we're going to go, we were on our vertice select, we're going to go to face select. We're then going to press the C key. The C key allows us to have this paint select. If I roll my mouse wheel, it'll roll it back, it'll get bigger. If I roll it in, it'll get smaller. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to left click, and then I can hold the left click and I can just paint my selection. So since we're on face select, I just selected these 8 faces here. One of the things you'll notice as we go through this model is we'll tend to, a lot of times when it comes to grabbing shapes, we'll tend to grab things in either 4 or 8 faces. And then I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. Okay, now we want to go to our right view again, and you'll see that we typically will go back to that right view a lot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm then going to press the G key and then the Y key to pull the head back just a little. And you can see from that circle we still have our proportional edit on. For this next part, we're going to turn off our proportional edit. So I'm going to press A to deselect here, and then I'm going to click here, and I'm going to choose disable. Now what we're going to do is hold our middle mouse button, roll the head so we can see these 8 faces right here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure we're on face select. We're going to press C for paint select, and we're going to paint or select these 8 faces right here. I'm now going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I just want to get a side view because we're about to extrude the neck down. So we're just going to press E. You see that line going right there? That's a preview line showing you which direction your faces will extrude out from, whether you're pushing or pulling. So we're going to pull out our neck right here. We're going to left click to lock in. We're then going to hold our middle mouse button and turn to the front view. I'm then going to hold shift and the middle mouse button just to pan over a little bit. And now with those 8 faces still selected, I'm going to press S to scale on the x-axis. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to turn to the side while holding the middle mouse button. Now I'm going to press S to scale on the y-axis. And then I'm going to left click to lock in. Okay, now what we're going to do is hold the middle mouse button and turn to this view. The reason why I'm turning to this view is because I don't want a straight front view or a straight side view. I want a kind of a 3/4 or 3D view, which a lot of times seems to help me as I'm putting in loop cuts and pushing and pulling vertices, edges, and faces. What you're going to do now is you're going to press Control R. One of the nice things about Blender, you see how when I press Control R, it put that purple line up. That purple line is a preview, and whether you're moving something or pushing something, you'll see that Blender is constantly trying to assist you in showing you a preview line. So with that purple line there, which is a preview line, again, I just pressed Control R. I'm going to roll my mouse one time. All right, when I roll the mouse one time, now you can see that there's 2 loop cuts there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click to lock in. And when I left click the first time, I can move those edges up and down. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to left click again to lock in. And just so you know, if you click right here, if you're having some kind of issue where there was somebody before, I had done another tutorial about a year ago on modeling a simple male mesh, and they were having a problem with Control R. Here in Blender 2.72b, one of the very cool things is before, largely you had to know the shortcuts in Blender to get around for the most part efficiently. I still recommend that you learn the shortcuts. However, with this new tab system here, it's definitely a lot easier to get around. And as far as loop cuts, you can select right here, and that's just an additional way you can put loop cuts on, besides pressing Control R. Okay, with these 2 loop cuts selected, what we're going to do now is we're going to press S to scale on the x-axis. We're going to come in about like that. We're going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. Then we're going to press S to scale on the y-axis. See that green preview line there? That's very nice. Blender is always trying to, or often trying to assist you. So I'm just going to push in just like that. Left click to lock in. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the front. Okay, so what you see right now is user perspective mode because we've been holding the middle mouse button to turn. What we want is we want to go into a mode that allows us to do a very precise selection. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go all the way to the left. We're going to go down to the navigation tab, and then we're going to select front. Now, when we select front, we still see this grid right here. And if you're ever concerned about which view you're in, if you look right here, you can see we're in front perspective view. what we want is orthographic view, or front orthographic view, which will give us kind of like a blueprint view, which is very good for making precise selections. Okay, to get to orthographic view, we're just going to click right here. It says view perspective / ortho, so we'll click here, and now we're in orthographic view. Okay, the reason why we wanted to come to orthographic view in the first place is we wanted to set this up to put a mirror modifier on it. And what a mirror modifier is it is a modifier that basically allows you to do half the work of modeling a mesh. It is extremely useful. One of the things before we put this mirror modifier on, see this little orange dot right here? You want to make sure that this little orange dot is directly in the center. So if I hold my middle mouse button, obviously it looks off, in this viewpoint. However, if you're in front orthographic view, you want that little orange dot directly in the center for the mirror modifier to work right. Okay, so with this setup, what we're going to do is we're going to press A to deselect the loop cuts right there. We're going to go to face select. We're then going to press Z to go to wireframe mode. The reason why we went to wireframe mode is normally when we select something, if we selected a face right here, we would select just the face in the front of the head. And for this mirror modifier, we want to get rid of this whole half right here, so that we can put our virtual half on, which is our mirror modifier. So we went to wire mode so that when we select, we won't just select the front faces here. We'll select the front and back faces. So to do that, we're going to press B. For box select, we're going to hold left, click and drag a little bit past the halfway point. We're on face select, so we have all these faces here. What you're going to do now is press X to bring up your delete menu. You're going to go to faces and choose faces, and what you have is this mesh totally cut in half. Okay, so with the mesh cut in half, and this little orange dot right here in the center, what you want to do is move your mouse over right here, roll your mouse to scroll. You can also hold your middle mouse button to pull back and forth. Click on this, what looks like a wrench is your modifier button, and you're going to click here for add modifier. You're then going to go right here to mirror. So we select that, and basically the reason why the mirror modifier knew to put this like exactly on the other half of this head is because of this orange dot in the placement. It's right there. It's escaping me right now, the actual name of it. Anyway, this right here is our mirror modifier, right? So to make our mirror modifier look like it is actually a part of this mesh, we can click right here. And basically what's going on now is whatever we do to this side will be mirrored on this side, effectively allowing us to do half the work. Okay, what you're going to want to do also is put a check mark right next to clipping, and what this will do is this will keep the two halves from pulling apart from each other. And those two halves being this, the actual geometry that actually exists, and then the mirror modifier geometry. Okay, so with that mirror modifier applied, we're going to press Z. We're going to choose solid. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to hold our middle mouse button, roll to look at the bottom of this mesh right here. We're going to make sure we're on face select. We're going to press C for paint select, and we're going to paint these faces right here. We're going to right click to get out of this. We're going to click front just to quickly get back to this view right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to flatten out this bottom here. The way we're going to do that, we're going to press S to scale on the Z axis. There's our preview line right there. Then we're going to press 0 and then left click to lock in. Okay, now what we're going to do is take this manipulator here, push down just slightly. I'm then going to roll my mouse wheel to zoom back some. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to zoom up. I'm now going to hit E to extrude. There's our preview line right there, and it's showing that we go. We're going to extrude straight down. If I press Z again, I can maneuver this extrude line, but I do want the Z axis. I'm going to press Z one more time, and we're just going to extrude right to about here. We're then going to press E to extrude on the Z-axis, and it's already selected on the Z-axis. You can see from the preview line. So we're going to pull down to about here. And we're going to press E to extrude. Z-axis is already, selecting on that. So then we're just going to pull down to about here and then left click to lock in. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect those bottom faces right there. We're going to press Z so we can get to wireframe. We're just going to select right here. We're going to go to vertice select. We're going to press B for box select. See all these vertices right here? That's what we're about to grab. So we're going to left click, drag, select all these vertices right here. Pull out to the side just slightly, about like that. And we're now going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. You could also have just hit right to do it, to go right to the side. We're going to press A to deselect. We're going to hold Control and then hold our right mouse button. This allows us to do a lasso select. That's what I'm doing right now. We're just grabbing these vertices right here. So I kind of dodge these vertices right there. And then we're just going to pull this head back a little bit like that. I'm going to hit A to deselect all that. I'm going to press B for box select. I'm going to grab these vertices right here, pull this back just slightly like that. Okay, now I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back to the front. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press Z and choose solid to get out of wireframe mode. I'm going to hold shift, hold the middle mouse button to pan up. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to look right here. We want these faces right here. We're going to go to face select. So we'll select here. And then I'm going to hold shift, and shift just allows you to select, multiple faces. If by some chance your manipulator gets in your way, like mine is getting in the way right here. See, I'm clicking here and I can't select right. One of the ways you can deal with that is you can press Control space, select manipulator, hold shift. So now it allowed me to select this face since the manipulator's out of the way. Now I'm just going to press Control space again and then select manipulator to bring the manipulator back. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. And what I'm going to do now is press E to extrude. And you can see by that preview line, we're on the Z axis. If by some chance you're not on the Z, just press Z and you'll see that preview line, which will allow you to extrude straight down, which is what you want. So you're going to extrude about like that. So this is what we have so far, people. This is what we're working with so far. All right. Okay, so with this extruded here and with these faces still selected here, you're going to take your manipulator and just push in like that. Be careful that you don't push in so far that these edges don't come together. Like this, remember, this is the mirror modifier right here. So you want to be careful with having lines cross over. So we pushed this in, but we didn't push in so that this line is crossing this center line because it'll just cause issues. So even though we came close, we didn't cross over. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to turn to the side. I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y axis. There's our preview line as soon as I hit Y. And we're just going to come in like this. I'm going to left click to lock in. I'm going to take the manipulator and pull back a little like that. I'm now going to hit A to deselect right there. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. There's my preview line for the loop cut. I'm going to left click to lock in. Left click again to totally lock in. Okay, with this loop cut still selected, we're going to press S to scale on the Y axis. Bring it out just like that. And you can see it's almost like a trapezoid shape right now. And that's what we want for now. And this is just setting up things for us for later. We still have this nice, blocky shape here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to go to face select. We're going to press C for paint select. I'm going to roll my mouse wheel in. I'm just going to select all these faces right here. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. Then I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y axis. See the preview line right there showing us how we can, scale. So we're going to push the scale in. And you can see that's taking away some of that blockiness right there. We're going to left click to lock in. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan down. I'll hold the middle mouse button just to turn to that nice, 3D kind of view again. With face select still on, I'm going to select here. I'm going to hold shift and select here. And now I'm just turning to the front, holding the middle. I held the middle mouse button, turn to the front. I'm going to press E to extrude on the X axis. So it was blue. When I hit X, it turned to red, showing me that I'm exactly on the X axis. Now I'm going to, about here. When I left click to lock in, I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y axis. You can see there's a preview showing us how we're going to rotate. So I'm just pushing in like this. Kind of weird. I'm just going to take this up like this. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y axis again. About like that. Slight angle down. Push this up like this. This is an update to a previous tutorial I did showing how to model a simple mail mesh. And for what I've learned now, I want to give credit to Darius Young. I was watching some of his time-lapse videos, and the guy, he knows his muscle systems. And by watching those time-lapses actually helped me out a lot in just developing how I want the muscles to look on this mesh. So if you want to see what I think is a master as far as developing muscles on the mesh, check out Darius Young's YouTube page. Okay, so what we want to do now is we're actually going to hit A to deselect. We're going to press Control R to put a loop cut in. You can see there's our preview line right there. I'm going to left click. Now I left clicked once. Now before we put in loop cuts, and pretty much we left clicked and then we left clicked again quickly to what I call locking it in. Because I only left clicked once, it allows me to adjust this loop cut. So I'm just going to pull this loop cut down to about here. Now I'm going to do that second left click. So now it's locked in. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, get a better view right here. I'm going to go back to face select. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut in right here. There's my preview line for the loop cut. I'm going to left click. Because I only left clicked one time, I'm able to slide this loop cut up. Not quite to the top I want. Let me zoom in so you can see this. Not quite to the top, but right about there is where you want the loop cut. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control R to put yet another loop cut in. There's my preview line. I'm going to left click one time. Again, because I left clicked once, I can move this loop cut. So I'm going to move this loop cut down about like that. I'm going to left click to lock in. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect, and we're going to put yet another loop cut in. So we're going to press Control R to put that loop cut in. There's our preview line. We're going to left click to lock in, left click again, because we don't want to move that one, because this one is right here in the center, which is where I want it. Okay, so we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to go back to face select, and I'm going to click here, hold shift, select here, and here, and here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to roll the middle mouse button to zoom out. Now what I'm going to do is press E to extrude. There's our preview line. We don't want that. We want it to go on the X axis, so we're going to press the X key. And now you can see there's our preview line switching to show us that we're about to extrude on the X axis. So we're going to come straight out like this, right? And we don't want this curve right here. So a way that we can deal with that is we're going to press S to scale on the X axis 0, and then left click to lock in. Okay, now we're going to hold our middle mouse button, turn to the side. See, we have this nice square here. It's not so nice. So you remember in the beginning I showed you the add-ons, and I told you to click there. If you click the Loop Tools add-on, I'm going to click here for the tab menu. If I scroll down here, you'll see it says Loop Tools. So if I click here, you have a bunch of options, and basically these just allow you to model quicker. If you press W, you'll bring up your specials menu, which you can also get to your Loop Tools, and that's how I'm going to use it right here. But just so you know, you can get to the Loop Tools in the tab option as well. So I'm going to go to Loop Tools, and I'm going to choose Circle. And what that did was it took that square and it basically gave it a circular shape, which is just nice because it's quick. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press S to scale. I'm going to push this in just slightly this way, about like that. Okay, what we're going to do now, let me push this back just slightly more. I'm going to hit S to scale this down just a little bit more. Now we're going to press E to extrude on the X-axis, bring this out to about here. Then we're going to hit E to extrude on the X-axis again, about like this. I'm going to hit S to scale, like that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button just to take a look around. I'm going to press S to scale on the X-axis 0. Left click to lock in. I just wanted to make sure it was, totally flat, and looks like it was. So now I'm going to press E to extrude on the X-axis. Bring it out like that. I'm going to hit S to scale. About to there. Okay, I'm going to hold my middle mouse button and turn and get like a 3D, viewport look again. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. And with these 4 faces still selected, I'm going to press O. Now see this right here? This is our proportional edit tool. It's gray, showing us that it's off. I'm going to press O, which is a shortcut for here. Now you can see that it's on. So I'm going to press G, which is going to allow me to see the area of influence of that proportional edit tool. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press R to rotate on the X-axis. And then I'm going to start to turn. Now see how it's turning right there? I'm going to roll the middle mouse button to increase the radius slightly. You can see when I increase the radius, it turned a little bit more. That's what we kind of want. About like that. And I'm going to hold Shift in the middle mouse button, pan. Zoom in. I'm going to press R to rotate on the X-axis. I'm going to roll down rolling with my middle mouse button to cut the area of influence down or lower it down. And what I'm trying to do is rotate just a little bit more. And what I want is, pretty much for this to look how it is, where this line is going, straight up and down, then this is going, from left to right. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, just turn slightly. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button. I'm going to press A to deselect those faces right there. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. I clicked one time so that loop cut's movable. I'm going to raise it up just a little bit like that. I'm going to left click to lock it in. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to press R to rotate. Whoops. I want that. No, I did not. I'm going to right click. I right click to get out of rotating. I'm going to click here and click disable to turn off that proportional editing tool. I'm going to press R to rotate on the X-axis. You can see there's a preview line right there. Pull up about like that. Then I'm just going to push down here about like that. I'm going to hold the mouse button and take a look at this. I'm going to push it down there a little teeny bit more. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control R. I'm going to put a loop cut right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Vertice Select. I'm going to select this vertice right here. I'm going to push down here. Select this side vertice right here. Push down here. Select this vertice, push down here. And I'm going to select this vertice here and push this up like that. Okay, so you generally want this, shape to the vertices, just like that. And with those vertices moved, you want to go to Face Select. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit C for Paint Select. And we're going to select all these faces right here. We're going to right click to get out of that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side a little bit. Then we're going to press E to extrude. Left click to lock in. Now it doesn't look like we did anything. What we did was we created new geometry there by pressing that E to extrude. So now what we're going to do is scale in a little bit like this. Left click to lock in. I'm going to hit S to scale on the X axis to scale in a little bit like that. Then I'm going to hit S to scale on the Z axis to bring this up again a little bit like that. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to edge select. We're going to select here. We're going to hold shift and select here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to take the manipulator and push out some like this. I'm going to select here, hold shift and select here, push out some like that. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button just to look. Push out a little bit more right here. Now I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right there. I'm going to left click once, left click again to lock in. I'm now going to select this vertex here, hold shift, select this vertex here, take the manipulator and pull up slightly. I'm going to select this vertex, this edge here. Yes, I selected the edge up there. Sometimes it's difficult. Control your mouth as you're thinking and moving. Anyway, I'm going to push this out a little bit like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to press A to deselect right there. We're going to hover our mouse around here. We're going to press Control R to put a loop cut right there. Left click to lock in totally. We're going to press Control R again. You can see there's the preview line. I'm going to left click to lock in there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go to vertice select. We're going to select this vertice right here. Take our manipulator and pull up just slightly like this. Select this vertice, pull up, same thing. This vertice, same thing, just like that. I'm going to click here just to move this manipulator out of the way. That up a little teeny bit more. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to look at our modifier menu. You can see here's the wrench here showing us that we're in our modifier menu. We're going to temporarily turn off this clipping. The reason why we're going to temporarily turn off this clipping is this mirror modifier keeps the two sides from splitting, and we want a split going between the abdominal muscles. So by temporarily turning this off, it allows us to have that split. If we didn't turn it off, it would keep that split from happening. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go to face select. We're going to select here. We're going to hold shift and select here. I'm going to hold my middle mouse button just to give us a 3D view. More of the abs. We're going to press E to extrude. Hit Y. You see that green preview line. We're going to take it out about like that. And then because we have this clipping turned off now, we're just going to pull very slightly just to get a little bit of separation. Then we're going to hit S to scale down a little bit. And as we scale down a little bit, you can see right there, it's giving us a wider split. So let me roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. So now we're just going to push back in there like that. Okay, so with face select still on, we're just going to go here, hold shift, select here, and pretty much repeat the process. So I'm just turning to get a better 3D view. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Y axis like this, bring it up like that. Okay, so this time what we're going to do is we're going to hit S to scale. Whoop, opposite direction. And the scaling is giving us our split. So hit S to scale a little bit more. I'm going to take my manipulator and push in slightly. Be careful pushing in. Again, you don't want to cross that center line. Okay, so we're going to select here. Just like before, hold shift, select here. We're going to press E to extrude on the Y axis, bring it out to about there. We're going to hit S to scale, then we're going to push in. This gives us that split. Hit S to scale down a little bit more. I'm going to take the manipulator and push in, not too much. Okay, now with those 3 rows of abs done, we're going to put a check mark back in clipping. And with our face select still on, we're going to select here, we're going to hold shift, and we're going to select here. We're going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side to give ourselves a 3D view. Okay, then we're going to hit a E to extrude on the Y axis. There's our preview line. We're going to push out and watch what happens this time. So when we scale down this time, because we have that clipping turned back on, you see how the clipping keeps a split from happening, which in this case we want, but it's just good for you to see the difference between having it on and off. So now that it's back on, we scale down, and clipping makes sure that these two faces don't divide from each other. Okay, so now what we're going to do is zoom back some. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to go to edge select actually. I'm going to select here. And I'm actually going to press O for proportional edit. I'm going to press G to see my area of influence. I'm going to roll it down so it's fairly small. I'm going to take the manipulator and I'm going to push down about like that. Okay, the abs are coming along thanks to some cool things I learned from Darius Young. So we're going to go back to face select. We're going to press C for paint select. We're going to paint select all of this right here. And we're going to paint select all of this here. Then right click to get out of paint select. Okay, so what we want to do now is click here and go to disable to turn off the proportional editing tool. We want to uncheck this clipping tool right here. Now with all of this selected, we want to press E to extrude on the Y axis. There's our preview line right there. We want to bring it out about like this. And because we just extruded, and then we also have our clipping turned off our mirror modifier by, not having a check mark here. Now when we hit S to scale, our chest muscle will split. So we'll left click to lock in. And again, the chest muscle split because we extruded and then we had clipping unchecked in our mirror modifier panel. Okay, now we're going to make sure we turn clipping back on because generally things work better with clipping on. We're going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan down. We're going to go to edge select. We're going to press A to deselect all of this. We're going to hold Alt and we're going to select this edge loop. Because we were holding Alt, we select the entire edge loop. And what we're going to do now is take our manipulator, push straight down about like that. And then we're just going to pull out some like that. And maybe we'll push in a little bit. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to move our mouse over this arm. We're going to press R to put a loop cut there. We're going to left click to lock in. I'm going to right click just to have it right where it's at. I don't want this going diagonal. I want it going straight up and down. To do that, I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis 0. I'm going to left click to lock in. Okay, now what I'm going to do with that loop cut still selected, I'm going to take this manipulator. I'm going to push it in about like that. You can see a little bit of weirdness happening there. I'm going to press W to bring up my specials menu. Then I'm going to go to loop tools and then go to circle. Push it in a little bit more. Then I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y axis like that. And then a little bit more. Left click to lock that in. Okay, now I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to go to vertice select. I'm going to select this vertice here, take the manipulator and pull it this way slightly. I'm going to take the vertice here and push it that way slightly. Now I'm going to go to face select. I'm going to select this face and select this face. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn so I can get a 3D view. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Y axis, bring this straight out. And then I'm going to, I'll scroll up here. You can select smooth vertex to have that bicep pull in some like that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to press Control R to put a loop cut right there in the center. I'm going to left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn so I can see the back of the arm. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to go to vertice select. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to get a better view of these vertices right here. And what we're going to do is press K to bring up the knife tool. We're going to put the knife tool right over that edge there. We're going to left click one time, drag it up to here, left click again, drag it over to here, left click again, and drag it back down towards where we started at, and then left click right here. And then after those cuts are there, we're going to press enter to get the knife tool to totally lock in. Okay, now with those cuts in there, we're going to go to face select. We're going to select here. We're going to hold shift. We're going to select here, here, and here. And we're going to press E to extrude. We'll just follow that preview line right out like this. I'm going to go to edge select. Select here, hold shift, select here. Then we're going to hold the middle mouse button so we can get a better view right here. Okay, we're going to leave this like that for now. We're going to turn back this way. We're going to go to face select. We're going to select right here. We're going to select right here. And we're just going to extrude up here. We're going to press W, go to smooth. We also could have selected smooth vertex from right here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to select right here and select right here. I'm going to press E to extrude, and then I'm going to select smooth vertex, or I could have pressed W to get that also. W to bring up the specials menu, and then I could have selected, smooth. I just recently learned how to model muscle to this point. I'm still learning. With the forearms, if you guys have any tips, I'm welcome to hear them as I'm still learning myself. Okay, with that done, we're going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. I'm going to hold shift and shift to the middle mouse button to pan. We're going to go to vertices select. We're going to select this vertex here. Let me hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan again. We're going to push this down like this. We're going to select this vertex, push this down like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to hold the mouse button, turn this back towards the front. We're going to go to face select. We're going to select here, hold shift, select here, here, hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. And I let go of shift to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. Now I'm holding shift and the middle mouse button again to pan. I'm holding shift to select these multiple vertices right there. Now I'm holding the middle mouse button to turn to the side again. I'm pressing E to extrude. I'm left clicking to lock in. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually pulling out to the side a little bit there. I'm going to select these vertices. I'm not extruding now. We extruded, so we created new geometry. Now the new geometry, I selected this front geometry here, and I'm just pushing. So I'm not extruding. We extrude it one time. Now I'm just pushing on this geometry right here. I'm going to select this vertex here. Push that down maybe slightly. Select this vertex here. Push this down slightly. Okay, and what we'll do now is we're actually going to select this vertex right here. We know about the proportional edit tool now, the regular, which is O, or we can press enable. Now I'm going to show you the proportional edit connected tool. And this kind of looks like a donut. It has a hole in it. And what this does is normally the proportional edit, if I turned it on like I did now, the other proportional edit, not this one, and I move this in, all of this stuff would move here, right? Everything in the area of influence. But now with the connected, only the things that are directly connected to this will move. So I'm going to press G to see my area of influence. I'm going to roll it up. Then I'm going to press G again, and then Y to push back some. And then if I want more to curve that direction, more vertices, I'll just roll my mouse wheel, and you can see them adjusting accordingly. I'm going to left click to lock in. Then I'm going to grab this other vertex here, do the same thing, G, and then Y, push this. I'm going to make it smaller because I don't want to push the vertices that I just pushed in out. Okay, and I'm just going to grab these vertices right here, hold shift, push them out just a little bit. We still have that connected proportional edit on. I'm going to select this vertex here, take the manipulator, and you'll see that when I grab the manipulator and pull, you'll see that area of influence. A lot of times I'll press G just because it stays there when you press G, but if you right click to get out of it, you just pull here, you'll see that area of influence as well, as long as this connected proportional edit or the regular proportional edit is on. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. We're going to go to edge select. We still have our connected proportional edit on. We're going to select this edge right here. We're going to hold shift and we're going to select this edge right here. Then we're going to turn back to the front so we can see what we're pulling out. And good old Latimus Dorsey here, so we'll pull it out to about that far. Then I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the back again. And now what we're going to do is press A to deselect. We're going to reselect right here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the front again, and I'm just going to push this back in some. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're just going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan this up. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. We're going to go to face select. We're going to turn off the proportional edit tool. We're going to hold shift and we're going to select here, all these faces right here. If this gets in your way, press control and space. Select the manipulator. I'm going to re-hold shift and select the rest of these. I'm now going to press X to bring up the delete menu. And I'm going to choose to delete the faces. Okay, now we're going to go to vertices select. I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan up. I'm going to select these three vertices right here. So I'm going to hold shift and select all three vertices here. And just hold the middle mouse button to turn to get a better view. I'm going to press E to extrude and extrude to about to here. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Now with vertices select still on, I'm going to select here. I'm going to hold shift here, here, and here. So you just selected 4 vertices. Now you're going to press the F key to fill that space right there. Okay, now we're going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the back. We're going to press A to deselect the vertices. With vertices select still on, we're going to select this vertice, hold shift, and select here, here, and here. We're then going to press F for fill. We're going to hold the middle mouse button to turn back to the front. We're going to go to edge select. We're going to press A to deselect. We're going to hold Alt and select this edge loop right here. So this whole edge loop right here is what we just selected. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom back. Now I'm going to press E to extrude. Just pull this out, no particular axis right now, about like that. I'm going to make sure you don't have the legs too close together. I'm going to press Control space to bring back the manipulator just by moving up and selecting manipulator. Push this down a little bit more. I want to push these legs forward just slightly. You don't want them coming straight down. You want them going forward a little. You're then going to press S to scale on the Z axis 0. Then left click to lock in. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to press W to bring up our specials menu. We're going to go to loop tools and we're going to select circle. We're going to turn to the side, and as you work on the legs, you want to spend a little extra time looking from front to the side. We're going to push this up a little bit. We're going to pull these out to the side a little bit more. We're going to press E to extrude on the Z axis. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom back. I'm going to hit S to scale on the X axis. I'm going to hit S to scale on the Y axis here. Okay, and we still with this edge loop selected here, we're going to press E to extrude on the Z axis to about here. We're going to press S to scale on the X axis. About there. Let's turn to the side. S to scale on the Y axis. Okay, I'm just going to hold the mouse button to turn back to the front. I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis a little bit more in the front. hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side, press S to scale on the Y axis a little bit more. Hold the middle mouse button to turn back to the front. I'm going to hit E to extrude on the Z axis, about like that. Left click to lock in. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn back. I'm going to take the manipulator and pull back just slightly. Here, I'm going to hold shift in the middle mouse button to pan up. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Z axis to come down. I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis. Here, hold the middle mouse button to turn to the back. Then I'm going to press, or to the side I should say, I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis. Here. You see how when I pull this back, this starts to go in front of the knee. You don't want this in front of the knee, so you just take the manipulator, pull it back like that. Hold the middle mouse button to turn back to the front. I'm going to hit S to scale on the X axis a little bit more. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Z axis. Here, I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis. Like that, hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side again. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis. I'm going to hold the mouse button, turn back to the front, hit S to scale on the X axis a little bit more. I'm going to hold shift in the middle mouse button to pan up. With our edge loop still selected here, we're going to press E to extrude on the Z axis, about like that. I'm going to hit S to scale no axis just slightly. I'm going to hold the mouse button and just look to the back. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis slightly. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back to the front. Then I'm going to press E to extrude on the Z axis again. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Z axis again. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Z axis one more time, about half the height of the other extrusions. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button so I can see underneath, and I'm going to press Control F to bring up my menu for faces, and then I'm going to select Grid Fill. Okay, now I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the front. I'm going to press Control Space to take away temporarily the manipulator. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan up, and rolling the middle mouse button to zoom in. I'm going to go to Face Select. I'm going to select these 6 faces right here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Y axis, about like that. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis 0. To flatten out this area right here, I'm going to press E to extrude on the Y axis again. Then I'm going to press E to extrude on the Y axis again. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. I'm going to press Z and then select wireframe. We're then going to press, with face select on, we're going to press B, select all of these 3 faces right here. I'm holding the middle mouse button just so we can get a better view. I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis, widen this out some. Left click to lock in. I'm going to press Z so we can go back to solid view. And we just went to wireframe so we could, grab this whole area here. We're going to go to edge select. Select these 2 edges here. I'm going to press Control Space to bring back our manipulator. I'm going to push this out in the front here. I'm going to go to Face Select. I'm going to select these 2 faces right here. I'm going to press O to bring out the proportion, to turn on the proportional edit. I'm going to press G and then Z to push this down. I'm rolling my mouse wheel as I'm pushing down to give, kind of a shape that I want. I'm going to left click to lock in. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold the mouse button so we can get a view right here. I'm going to make sure the proportional edit tool's on. I'm going to go to edge select. I'm going to select these 2 edges here. Let me zoom in so you can see. I'm going to hold shift in the middle mouse button to pan, and I'm rolling the middle mouse button to zoom in. I'm going to press A to deselect there. Select here, hold shift, select here. Rolling with the middle mouse button to zoom out, and then I'm going to hit G so I can see that area of influence. When I roll the mouse wheel to shrink it, left click to get it to go away for a second. I'm going to take the manipulator. I'm going to press G and then X and push out about like that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn here. I'm going to select right here, hold shift and select here. And I'm going to press G to move on the, and then X to move on the X axis to pull out like this. I'm now going to select right here, hold shift and select right here. I'm going to press G and then X to move on the X axis. I'm now going to select here. I'm going to hold Control Space, temporarily take away the manipulator, select here, whoops, here and here, nope, here and here. So these two edges here and these two edges here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and get a slightly different view. I'm going to press G to move on the X axis just to push this in a little bit right there. I'm going to select this edge right here, hold shift, select this edge right here. And then press G to move on the X axis here. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to change the view. I'm going to press A to deselect that edge right there. I'm going to click here to disable the proportional edit tool. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right there. I'm going to double click so it's locked in up. I'm going to hold Alt because I lost my selection. I clicked too many times. So I'm going to hold Alt, select right on that edge loop. Now I'm going to hit S to scale on the X axis. Just slightly. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and press to turn to the side. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis. I'm going to hold Alt and select this edge right here. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis. Hold the mouse button to turn back to the front. Press S to scale on the X axis just slightly. And now I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to zoom back by rolling the mouse wheel. Hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan down. I'm going to hold the mouse button so we can get a back view. Rolling the middle mouse button to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan down. We're going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. I'm going to click one more time to lock that in. I'm going to temporarily turn off this clipping. I'm going to go to Face Select. I'm going to select here. I'm going to hold Shift and select here and here and here and here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to get more of a 3D view. I'm going to press E to extrude on the let it ride out on its own axis there. And I'm going to press W and select smooth. And actually we can use this here. Then I'm going to select the edge here. Edge select, I mean. I'm going to select here and here. I'm going to turn back on this clipping. So I'm going to put a check mark right here. And I press G to move on the Z axis. Actually, I'm going to click here, turn on connected proportional editing. I'm going to press Control Space so I can bring back my manipulator. I'm going to press G to move on the Z axis. I'm going to roll my mouse wheel a little bit like that. Holding the middle mouse button just to turn to the front. I'm going to go to Edge Select. I'm going to select these edges right here. I'm going to press G and then Y. Pull forward just slightly. Yes, whenever you work on a model, whatever, on areas like this, of course, it's kind of awkward. One of the things we want to do is just set everything up so that as we move forward, the basic geometry that we need is there. So we can, continue to add details and move things around as we move forward in this mesh. Okay, you're going to press A to deselect your edges there. you're going to click here and then click here to turn off your connected proportional editing tool. Then make sure you have edge select on. You're going to hold Alt and you're going to select this edge loop right here. Okay, and with that edge loop selected, you're going to press R to rotate on the Y axis. You're going to turn like this. Left click to lock in. You're going to take your manipulator and pull up slightly like that, not too much. Don't cross over this line here. We're just going to select this edge right here, take a manipulator and push out something like that. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel in. We're going to hold shift and the mouse button, pan up. We're going to go to vertice select. And we're going to select this vertice. Move it over here like this. I'm going to select this vertice, move it slightly. Select this one, push it in some. Select this one and push it that way. And basically we're trying to set it up to form the quadriceps. We're going to select this vertex here, bring this in like this. Okay, now we're going to go back to face select. We're going to select here, hold shift and select here. And we're going to press E to extrude like this. Then we're going to press, you can either select smooth vertex here or press W and select smooth. Okay, now we're going to select here, hold shift and select here. Do the same thing. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. And we're going to press E to extrude here. We're going to press W and then select smooth. Okay, now we're going to select here. And we're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. We're going to press S to scale down some. Then we're going to press S to scale on the Z axis to scale up some. S to scale on the X axis a little bit more. Then we're going to press E to extrude here. About like that. We're going to press W and then select smooth. Okay. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect. I'm going to roll the middle mouse button to zoom in. I'm going to press shift and hold the middle mouse button to pan. We're going to press Control R to get a loop cut right here. You can see the previews there. I'm going to left click one time to make the loop cut apply to the geometry, but still be movable. So I'm going to push it up to about here. Then we're going to left click again to lock it in. Okay, we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom out some. I'm going to hold shift and the mouse button to pan over some here. I'm going to press Z so we can go to our wireframe menu. And then with edge select on, what we want to do is, actually let me zoom in. We want to grab this loop. Right here. That's right on the edge there. And then with that loop selected, what we want to do is press the C key. And then when you hold the middle mouse button with the C key, it erases. So we're going to erase the lines right here. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. Yeah, you want it above the, pretty much above the waist. We're going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to zoom down some. And then we want to press C to bring paint select in again. We're going to hold the middle mouse button. Again, this erases loop selection. So I'm going to, or erases actually, whether if you're selected on edges, it'll erase edges and, you know, edge loops from selections. If you're on, you know, faces or vertices, and the same thing, you hold the middle mouse button, it'll erase your selections. And this is kind of a cool thing I learned a while ago, because you can scale in without worrying about, messing up certain areas of the body. Uh, okay, so I'm going to right click to get out of here. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis. The reason why we're doing this is because I want that line going into the back. So we're going to press Z, and then we're going to go to solid. We're going to hold the mouse button and turn, so we have, this line kind of going in here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press A to deselect, and with edge select still on, I'm going to select this line again. So I'm just holding shift and selecting, pretty much down the back. Don't want that line there, so I'm going to roll in, hold shift and the middle mouse button. I'm going to select right here, hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. I'm just going to make this a little bit deeper here. Okay, we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back front. This looks a little long. So what we're going to do is press Z, go to wireframe. We're going to select right here. So you're going to press, roll the mouse wheel to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to hold shift to pan. And we're going to press B for box select. Select right here. Then we're going to hit S to scale on the Z axis, about like that. And just pushed it about like that. Press Z to bring this menu back up, and then select solid. Then we're going to press A to deselect. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. We're going to press or hold Z and hold the middle mouse button pan. Roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. We're going to go to face select. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button pan down. I'm going to press C, and we're just going to select these four faces right here. I'm going to right click to get out of paint select. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn back to the side. I'm going to press E to extrude on the X axis, about like that. E to extrude on the X axis, like this. Then we're going to hit S to scale on the Z axis. Hold the mouse button to turn to the side. Press S to scale on the Y axis, like that. Hold the middle mouse button to turn again. We're going to press E to extrude on the X axis, like this. E to extrude on the X axis again, like this. About like that. E to extrude on the X axis one more time. This one's about half as long as those half as wide, long, however you want to put it, as the other two. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. I'm going to click here to turn on the proportional edit tool, just the regular one, not the connected. We're going to press S to scale on the X axis. Sorry, S to scale on the Y axis. Like that. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to get the proportional edit tool to affect more of the palm area there. I'm going to left click to lock in. Then I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis. Like that. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to increase the area of influence. Like that. Okay, what you're going to do now is press O to turn off the proportional editing tool. You're going to press X to bring up your delete menu. You're going to delete the faces here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to get a top view. I'm going to press A to select everything, A to deselect everything, just to make sure nothing's selected. I'm going to press K to bring up our knife tool. We're going to use that to cut these faces here. So you're going to select this edge right here. I'm going to left click one time, drag up to here, left click, drag over to here, left click, and then drag to here. And you see how that edge loop is, the edge is lighting up. That's how I can tell where I'm at. So now I'm going to left click here. Then I'm going to press enter on my keyboard to lock in those cuts. The mouse button so we can get a view of the underside of what's going to be the hand here. We're going to press K to bring up our knife tool so we can cut these faces. So you see how the edge is highlighting right there as I'm over that edge. So I'm going to left click. Last time we cut 4 faces. This time we're cutting 6 faces. So I'm going to left click here, and then you can see that nice glow showing me, as Blender usually does, my preview of where my line is cutting to. I'm going to left click here. Then I'm going to press enter. And now we have this cut here. Okay, so we're going to hold our mouse wheel and pull down. We're going to go to vertice select, and the reason why we made those cuts was so we could form our fingers. So what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom in so you can see this better. We're going to select this vertice right here. I'm going to hold shift, select this vertice here, and here, and here. Then we're going to press F to fill. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select this vertice here, hold shift, select here, I'm still holding shift, then here, then here. I'm going to press F to fill. I'm going to select here, and see I missed there. Sometimes that happens. Press A to deselect. I'm going to select here. I'm going to hold shift, select here, select here, select here, and press F to fill. I'm going to select here, holding shift. Again, I'm going to select here, and press F to fill. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. We're going to left click one time. Because we only left click one time, that allows us to still move this edge loop. So we're going to move it down about to here. Now left click to lock in. With that vertice select still on, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select here, hold shift, select here, select here, select here. So I selected 4 vertices right there. I'm going to press F to fill. I'm going to select here, holding the middle mouse button to turn. I'm holding shift. I'm going to select here and here, holding the middle mouse button to get a better view, and selecting this vertice here. I'm holding the middle mouse button again. I'm going to press F to fill. Okay, now we're going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side here. We're going to go to face select. We're going to select right here. And we're going to press E to extrude, about out to there. Press S to scale. Then we're going to press S to scale on the Z axis like this. We're going to press E to extrude like this. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis again. Press E to extrude a little. Press E to extrude again, like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is with face select still one, we're going to select here, we're going to hold shift, and we're going to select all of these faces. They're going to make up our fingers. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan up. We're going to click here. Blender's default pivot point is the medium point. We're going to change this to individual origins. We're now going to press Alt E to bring up our extrude menu. We're going to select extrude individual faces. So we're going to click here. And then we're going to press X to bring these out about like that. Left click to lock in. Okay, and because we change this pivot point to individual origins and we extrude it here with the extrude individual faces, we're able to work on all of the fingers at the same time rather than working on one finger at a time. So it's a pretty nice time saver. So what we're going to do is we're going to press S to scale. And you see that how they're separated? It's because we extruded on the individual faces that we have this separation, and also because we have this individual origins on for this pivot point. So I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. We're going to press E to extrude on the X axis about to here. I'm going to press E to extrude on the X axis to about here. I'm going to hold the mouse button to get a slightly different or better view. I'm going to press S to scale just slightly. We're going to press E to extrude on the X axis here. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis slightly. We're going to press E to extrude on the X axis here. And then we're going to press E to extrude on the X axis again to about here. Okay, now what we're going to do is go to our vertice select. We're going to press Alt O to turn on proportional editing, or the proportional editing tool. I'm going to select this vertice here. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift. Then I'm going to press G to move. Oh, wait a second. Oh, it's too big. For a second, I didn't see it, and I was like, what? So I'm going to press G, and I'm going to roll the mouse wheel in There we go. And then I'm going to press Y to move in this way. This, like that. Rolling the middle mouse button to zoom out. Holding the middle mouse button to turn this angle here. I'm holding shift and the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to select here and here, here and here. Hold the middle mouse button to pan again. I'm going to press G, then Y to push this in like that. I'm going to select here, press G, and then Z to shape that just slightly. I'm going to select here, hold shift and select here, here, and here. I'm going to press G to move on the Z axis. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel a little bit. Just trying to get a little bit of shape to the palm. Okay. Okay, we're going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom out. So I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press shift and the middle mouse button to pan over this way. Okay, now we're going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn slightly. We're going to select this vertex here. I'm going to press Control Space to temporarily take away the manipulator. I'm going to select here, 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 and here. Hold the middle mouse button to turn. Now I'm going to press G and then Z. So G is just allowing me to move these vertices up along the Z axis. Okay, we're going to press A to deselect. And turn here and grab these vertices all along here. We're going to press G to move along the Z axis like that. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button here. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to select these vertices here. I'm going to press G and then Y. Pull out this way some. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn towards the back of the arm. And I select here and here, all these vertices here. I'm going to press G to move, then Y to move along the Y axis like this. Left click to lock in. Okay, we're going to click here and select Disable. To turn off the proportional edit tool, we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to go to face select. We're going to select these four faces here. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. We just created new geometry there. We're going to press S to scale. We're going to scale this in like that. We're going to press S to scale on the X axis to stretch it out some. Then we're going to press E to extrude on the Z axis like that. Then we're going to press W to bring up our specials menu and choose smooth. I'm going to press S to scale on the Y axis. I'm going to press Control Space to bring back our manipulator. Just push this slightly forward like that. Up a little. Okay. Okay, let's zoom back to look. See what we have here. The arms are looking kind of long, so I'm actually going to zoom in here. I'm going to click here, change this back to the medium point. I'm going to press A to deselect there. I'm going to press a Z so we can go to wireframe mode. I'm going to hold the control button and the right mouse button so I can do a loop select. And I'm going to select all of this right here. I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis. Push this in some like that. S to scale on the X axis again. Push that in some. Then I'm going to press S to scale no axis. scale, no axis, a little bit more. Let's take a look at this. When I hit Z, go to solid mode. Click here. Okay, that looks better. Okay, we're gonna zoom in here. Click here to go back into edit mode. I'm gonna hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Zoom in on the face. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to edge select. We're going to hold alt. We're going to select here. We're going to press S to scale on the Z axis 0. Left click to lock in. Push this down a little. Okay, let me pull this back over here. And now what we're going to do is with edge select still on, I'm going to grab here. Pull this down some. We're going to select here, push that down some more like that. The vertice select here, push that down some. Going to select right here, push this down. Here, go to vertice select, push this down. Just these ones on the side, pushing down. Whoops. Well, hold control space to take the manipulator temporarily away. Select here, 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 and here. Press control space to bring the manipulator back. I'm going to push that down. And this is actually a new way of modeling a face that I kind of came up with as I was making this tutorial. So this is going to be interesting for you guys, hopefully, and interesting for me as well. So we're going to go to face select. We're going to select here, here, here. Okay, what we're going to do now is you're going to press E to create new geometry, left click to lock in. You're going to press S to scale. Scale it down about like that. You're going to go to vertice select. We're just going to push and pull some of these vertices, just like this. Grab this vertice here, push this down. We're just pretty much rounding that off there. Okay, so now we're going to go to face select. We're going to press C for paint select. We're going to select these 4 faces here. We're going to right click to get out of paint select. Hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. We're going to press E to extrude on the Y axis. Push in about like that. Hold the middle mouse button just to, sometimes to see how far you pushed in, you've got to kind of get like a 3D view and rotate a little bit to, fully grasp the perspective. Then you're going to press E to extrude here. Left click to lock in. We did that just to create new geometry. We're going to press S to scale just a little. Left click to lock in. Then we're going to press E to extrude on the Y axis. About that far back. Then we're going to press E to extrude on the Y axis again. You can see this is like going through the faces towards the back of the mouth. So we're going to press S to scale. Scale this in like that. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to go to edge select. We're going to select here. Push these edges in a little like that. Grab this edge here. Push this in some like this. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to go back to face select by selecting here. We're going to hold Alt, select this edge loop right here. Holding the middle mouse button to turn slightly. We're going to press E to extrude on the Y axis very slightly forward. Then we're going to press S to scale, and like that. About like that. We're going to take the manipulator and push this forward like that. Okay, we're going to go back to edge select. We're going to press A to deselect everything. We're going to select this inside edge right here. We're going to press S to scale. Scale that in some like that. I'm going to grab this edge right here. Pull that in some like this. Grab this edge, pull this in something like that. Grab this 4 edges right here. Push this straight out some. Grab these right here. Push these out and pull them up some. Grab these ones again, push them down some. Grab this edge, pull this out some. Now we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. We're going to left click to lock it in. We're going to press Alt S to scale that in some like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is press A to deselect. We're going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. Left click to lock it in. Left click again to totally lock it in. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect there. We're going to roll our mouse wheel back. We're going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. We're going to pull this down some like that. Left click in to lock it. Lock it in more. We're going to go to a vertice select. Grab this one vertice and push it up some like that. We're going to go to face select. We're going to select these faces here. We're going to press E to extrude to create new geometry. Left click to lock in. We're going to press S to scale like this. We're going to push this in. Like that. I think we're going to go to edge select. Pull this up some like that. We're going to go to vertice select. Select this. Like I said, this is a new way I'm trying to do a faces. The original way I learned to do a face was actually something like that. I went away from that. Now I'm going back towards that. So basically what I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at how the ear is going to pop out. This most likely is going to be the eye. This right here is going to form into the nose. And I was working on, I had my face that I have been using, and then I started playing around with this. I'm just pushing and pulling vertices here. And I was like, I kind of like how the shape was ending up better from doing it like this. So we'll see. Okay, so with vertice select on, we're gonna push this up, and this is we're like gonna use these faces here to form the nostrils. This will be the nose. So I'm just trying to set it up before we pull it out. We're going to extrude an ear from over here, so just trying to set that up. Okay, so we're going to go to face select. We're going to select right here. We're then going to press the E to extrude on the x-axis. Not too much, about like that. Okay, so now we're going to press I'm going to hold the mouse button to turn. We're going to press S to scale. Not too much. Pull this out to the side a little bit more. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Z axis. Pull it out a little bit more. Now we're going to press W to bring up our loop tools. Select here, select circle. Okay, so we're going to go to vertice select. Hold the middle mouse button here. We're going to select this vertice right here. I'm going to hold shift in the middle mouse button to pan. Roll in the middle mouse button to zoom in. I'm holding shift. We have these two vertices here selected. I'm going to press Alt M. For the merge menu, we're going to choose at last. We're going to select here, hold shift, select here, press Alt M at last, select here, hold shift, select here. And we're just holding shift, selecting vertices. We're going to press Alt M at last. I'll just pull up here a little bit, pull here a little. We're going to go to these edges here, hold shift, select both of them, push this in a little bit like that. Okay, now we're going to go to face select. We're going to select here, hold shift, select here, here, here. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in, press S to scale. About like that. We're going to press E to extrude, no access, just push this in. About like that. Press S to scale a little. See what we're doing there. Press A to deselect. And now we're going to, with face select on, we're going to press C for paint select. Select all of this right here. Hold shift and select all of this here. And here and here. We're going to press Alt O to turn on our proportional editing tool. I'm going to make sure we have this inside here as well. We're going to press S to scale. We're going to roll our area of influence down. Like that. Good. We're going to press G, then X. And I just rolled I pushed in and I rolled the mouse. And as I was rolling the mouse in the area of influence that was coming from the connected proportional edit, basically slimmed up the face a little bit. Okay, now we're going to press A to deselect. We're going to select here, here, and here. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in, holding shift and the middle mouse button to pan. We're going to press E to extrude to create new geometry. We're going to left click to lock in. We're going to press it. Whoops. Turn off this proportional edit tool. So you can see it's off now. We have this new geometry sitting right on top of the old geometry. Because we have that new geometry, we can hit S to scale. Scale this down like this. Push this in some. Okay, and we're going to select here, hold shift, select here, here, click here, turn on the connected proportional editing. We're going to press G, roll our mouse wheel to shrink that area of influence down to about like that. Then we're going to press Z, push this down some, like that. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side a little bit. I'm going to push this forward just a little. I'm actually going to press C for paint select. I'm going to grab this whole area right here. And push this forward, something like that. I had forgot this. I forgot this wasn't selected. That's what I'm doing here, just fixing that. Pushing that vertice forward here. Grab this vertice, push that back just slightly. We'll click here, turn this off. We'll go to face select. We'll select all of this right here. Okay, now we're going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. We're going to press E to extrude on the Y-axis. Push out just slightly. We're going to hold the middle mouse button to turn the view. We're going to select right here. We're going to take our manipulator and push this out some, about like that. Hold the middle mouse button to get a different view from underneath. We're going to go to vertice select. Pull back some here and push this down some here. We're now going to select this vertice, hold shift, and select this vertice here. Push straight down some. Okay, now we're going to go to face select, select right here, hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side, press E to extrude on the Y-axis. To bring that out about like that. We're going to press S to scale it down some. Pull it up some like that. We're going to now select right here, hold shift, select here. We're going to temporarily turn off the clipping so we can have two nostrils that are separated. We're going to press E to extrude, left click to lock in. We just created new geometry, and since we have this clipping turned off, when we press S to scale, we're able to scale two separate nostrils. Now I'm going to press S to scale a little bit more, take the manipulator, push these forward a little bit, turn the clipping back on. I'm going to push this in slightly. And now we're going to press E to extrude on the Z axis. If it's wobbly like this, hit Z again. You'll see a preview line. Take it up. If it comes through the top, that's fine. You can use that to see how far you're up and just push it down below the surface. Push a little bit more now. Press S to scale it in some. Just hold the middle mouse button to rotate my view. I'll push this down a little bit more. Okay, now what we're going to do is hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. We're going to edge select. We're going to select here. We're going to hold shift and we're going to select here. Hold the middle mouse button just to get past the manipulator. We're going to press Alt O to turn on connected proportional editing. We're going to press G and then Y. Pull back like this. Roll the mouse wheel to adjust your proportional editing. We're going to select here, select these edges here, turn to the side, press G, pull back about like that. And now we're going to hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. We're going to go back to face select, turn off connected proportional editing. We're going to select here, hold shift, select here, here. Roll the middle mouse button to zoom in, hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Rolling in a little bit more. We're going to press E to extrude on the Y axis, about like this. Then we're going to press X to bring up a delete menu and select faces to delete. Okay, we're going to roll our mouse wheel to zoom back. And what we're going to do now is we are going to press A to select our entire mesh. We're going to, in the modifier panel, we're going to click here. We're going to select subdivision surface. We're going to, with our subdivision surface, we'll turn this view up to 2. We're going to click here so it looks like it's applied. Then we're going to press Z and select shade smooth. Okay, now that we have the basic work done, now we come to the fun part. Let's come out, take a look at this guy, because now we can push and pull him and make him into who we want him to be. I'm going to take away this grid floor by pressing N. I'm going to scroll down, go to display, and uncheck grid floor. We're going to go back into edit mode. We'll grab this edge right here, press G, then Z, pull that down some. Go to face select. We'll select right here. We'll press Alt O to turn on connected proportional editing. Press G. Push his chin out some. Go to edge select here. We'll pull this back a little. We'll press G. Shrink the area of influence down. Grab this. We'll push this up. Just defining his chin a little bit more. Just pushing and pulling vertices here. I'm going to grab here, hold shift, hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm going to press G, then X, and I'm going to use the proportional edit tool to control what's going on. Larger here, I'm going to select here, press G, X. Grab here. I'm going to press G and Y. Roll this down so I'm pull forward a little bit. Grab here. Whoops. Control Z, hit G. So we can see our area of influence. Roll our mouse wheel to zoom down. Push this out here a little. And pull it back a little. Select here. Pull up a little there. This is kind of cool. Like, suppose we grab like right here, right? If we want to make his face stretch out, we'll hit G so we can see our area of influence. See how small it is there? So we make this big as his whole head. Now when I press Z, you see that? We can increase the length of his head pretty easily just by grabbing that right there. So come out object mode to take a look at it. And if we want his brow sharper, what we can do is go back into edit mode, hold shift and middle mouse button, pan down. With edge select on, we'll grab all of this right here, and what we're going to do is press Control P. Pull just slightly. If you push too much, see how it jumps back to that? So you want to pull just so it's like that. And now watch when we come back out. You see that right there, that sharpness? That's a pretty cool way to just give something more of an edge. We're going to click here, go back in edit mode. We're going to select right here, press G, shrink this area of influence, hit Y, roll the area of influence just a little like that. And typically when I model, my wife makes fun of me for having the mouth be open. I have the mouth open so I can put the teeth in there, but to shut that mouth, if you press go to face select, hit C, you want to select all of this right here, all this bottom part of the mouth. You want to make sure I'm going to hold shift and select right here. You need all this lip part, all this bottom part right here. That's good. Then what we're going to do is right click here, get a side view. We're going to click here to go to change the pivot point to the 3D cursor, and then to shut the mouth, what we're going to do is press R to rotate. Like that. Now he's got like a smile on his face there. It kind of looks like, but one more thing, I'm going to press Control Z. So to not have to worry about grabbing this area right here, what we can do is, because we'll probably reopen his mouth to deal with his teeth, if you click here, go to vertex groups, select plus here, we'll double click here and we'll name this lower jaw, and then you make sure you click assign. So now if I hit A and click off of that, right, now I can just click select and we have that selection back again. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll grab this, we'll go to edge select, we'll grab right here, pull down just a little bit just to fix that weirdness there. And what we're really going to do now is go into scope mode. And scope mode allows us to very easily adjust proportions, facial expressions, pretty amazing. If you click here, you can see your different sculpt tools. Typically, I use smooth, sometimes crease, grab, and inflate as far as helping to assist with modeling characters. So, for instance, like if you this right here, this green is your area of influence. If I press F and pull, it gets bigger. I press F and push in, it gets smaller. So I can just grab here, push that right there. If suppose I like his quadriceps aren't far enough up, I can grab here and actually pull up here. If I want them wider, I can actually go like this. It's very easily make quick adjustments. You see how prominent like these shoulder muscles are too much? If you go to smooth, when you come in here, don't leave the smooth on the default settings. Take the smooth down to about 1.5 or 1.40 because smooth, you can see even with the settings lowered all the way down, you see how much an effect it has. So if you don't lower it down, even here it's having a pretty strong effect. It'll often overpower what you're trying to do. So we can smooth that out. That's that, kind of too much shoulder. Same thing with the tricep. We kind of smooth this in some. And even proportions of body proportions, like the arms, if we want them shorter, we can press F. Just go in, push here. If you zoom out and have your cursor be bigger, you can do pretty major body changes like this. It's fun, and as long as you have the basic work done, I mean the basic shapes in there. Gee. Whenever you're dealing with muscle, make the joint smaller. The muscles have the illusion of more size. And so I use grab a lot. I want this guy's arms to be very big, so pull this out some even more. Yeah, Sculpt Tool is it's fun. It's fun to use. It's almost like for those of you who have, when you're doing these tutorials, it's kind of hard to tell how long they are, but I know this one is long. For those of you who have actually made it this far, this is kind of like your reward of Sculpt Tool. Just it's fun. Play with a character once you've made it up. When you do small details, you just hit F. Shrink your mouse. Shrink where your mouse is showing the influence of your brush. I'm gonna go to smooth and smooth this out here. Go back to grab, and I'm just doing basic refinements where I think I want to see something. That's all I'm doing there is pushing and pulling. You got to be careful that you don't have polygons cross over one another, because you'll get like almost kind of like sharp edges, which you don't want. You don't want messed up looking sharp edges anyway. And from a top view, you can see a better area. Like if you want to have the guy be absolutely humongous chest, it's easier to do from a top view. We can pull this out. One of the cool things about making tutorials is you learn a lot while making them, and at the same time it gives you something to look back on. You know, if you put something on YouTube, it's pretty easy to find. About a year ago, I did a simple male model, or how to model a simple male mesh, and you can see my, as far as modeling muscles, I still obviously can improve. So I'm looking forward to in the future, you know, coming back and just like I look at the simple male mesh, and you know, looking at this and seeing how I improve, and hopefully you guys you know, as you keep your models, and I would recommend you do that. Did you know, as you work, you keep some of them so you have something to judge where you're at now to where you were at. Okay, so let's adjust his facial expression. So we're going to roll the mouse wheel in, hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. He kind of looks like he has a smile on his face now. We can adjust that fairly easily. Holding shift and middle mouse button to pan. So we'll just adjust his mouth. Kind of got some. There we go. Here. Even like, see this little strangeness there? We can actually go right in the smooth. Press F. Smooth is a great tool. Okay, what we'll do here is we're going to press F, pull, lower his brow down a little bit so he looks like he's pretty serious. We'll go to smooth. And I suppose you did all this work, you made it this far into the tutorial, and suppose you have a result that you're fairly pleased with, but you want to change it. You're like, I want the face to be a different structure. This is pretty cool. If you click here, go to object mode, and what you're going to do now is you're going to go to your shape key. So it's right here, the little triangular looking button, your active data button. You're going to go to shape keys, and you're going to click plus right here. All right. Now what this plus does is this puts a basis in. So Blender remembers the shape of this right here. So if you hit plus again, this right here will be a shape that we can change. So if I'm going to click here and I'm going to name this ALT for alternate 1 as far as our face, right? Normally, you would go in edit mode and you could adjust your face to however you want it. If you want to go into sculpt mode and do it just like we did, if you click this pen here first, then click here and go into sculpt mode. Now you can come in and suppose we want to really push this character. I'm going to press B, make this area F. Make the area of influence bigger. Suppose we want to, make the mouth smaller and really, change the dynamics of this face, like push it and be able to push it without too much worrying about losing. Control Z to get out of that. And press F. Sometimes you have to angle it so you can. Okay, that's the inside part, but you can see just by that, just having like a wider, face for this guy, right? more brow. You can, spread his nose out forward, maybe give him a little bit wider nostrils. Push this in here. Click smooth. This smooth out there, right? And let's suppose we want to, change his body. So we're like, we want to be an absolute monstrosity. We can, click here, like we're making a Hulk. All this stuff we can do because of those shape keys without too much worry. Well, without really any at all. And the reason why is even as we do this, I'll show you in a second. What we can do is we can click here, come back to object mode. When we unclick this pen, you see that right there? We're right back to where we were. And then if we want that new character, I'll zoom out so you can see, we just take this value and push it up. And now you can see our changes there. As a matter of fact, something that just made me think of, we'll take this value down, right? Suppose you want your character and you're like, you want to have him be muscular, but this is too much for you, right? We go in edit mode. Actually, sorry. We'll go in, we'll click in object mode. We'll click plus here. We'll double click here. We'll name this alternate 2. And we'll go to edit mode. What we'll do is we'll hit Z to go to wireframe mode. Hold control and the right mouse button. Select all of this right here, everything but his head, right? So what you're going to do now is press Alt S. So actually, let me hit Z. Go to solid so you can see what's going on. So we're going to press Alt S. And you can see, one more thing I forgot, sorry. Press Z, go to wireframe. You want to make sure you don't select the hands either. So we're going to press Z actually. Hold the middle mouse button and delete the selection from the hands. The same thing for around his ankles. Deselect his feet and his hands. So then we're going to hit Z. Whoops. Yeah, right click, get out of there. Hit Z. Go to solid. Now we'll press Alt, hold Alt, press S. And look at that. So now what we have is a much, he's still pretty darn muscular, but very lean. We could actually even, go from here to, maybe he would be like a basketball player or something now. So, you have his body there. You could even go in and, we'll hit C to select right here. We'll hit G. Roll area of influence up. Push it in even more here like that. So now we still have a muscular character. We come out and look, there's our character there. Now we want that smaller look, and you see that right there. And of course you can actually animate somebody actually turning into like the Hulk by, whenever you have a value in Blender, you can hit I here and then, lower the value and have the character actually grow. So using the shape keys is just a way that you can adjust your character without fear of losing the work that you've already done. And then you can always delete these. If the shape keys give you some kind of issue when you're working with something else, you can always delete the shape key also. As a matter of fact, let me show you how to do that. So suppose you wanted the smaller type character, and you're like, look, I don't want to deal with shape keys. I've had issues with them before, or I don't want to, deal with them. I just want to have, you have your main model, you make your adjustments, and then you want your adjustments to be your final thing instead of this. Well, what you can do then is go to these shape keys and just delete everything but the model that you want. So this one right here is a smaller type character. So suppose we want the slimmer type character. What you can do is you can just press this minus key to get rid of the one alternative. And here's the basis, which is this. And then now we can just get rid of that. And now we don't have any shape keys, but we have our alternative character here. So that's a way you can kind of lock in your changes there. So I'm just going to press Control Z. Get out. Okay, so we're almost through this, so I'm going to actually delete these shape keys. And we're going to add some eyeballs to them. So we're going to click here, go to Edit, zoom in, press A to deselect. We'll go right here with edge select on. Let's turn off our proportional edit. We're going to hold Alt, select here, press Shift S to bring up our Snap to menu. Then choose cursor to selected to put it right there in the center. We'll click here to go into object mode. We're now going to press Shift A to bring in a UV sphere. As soon as you bring this UV sphere in, if you look to your left, you can see these this add UV sphere menu. So you're going to click where it says 32, change this to 12. Click where it says rings, change this to 12. Okay, we're going to click here to go in edit mode. Now we're going to go to our navigation tab. We're going to go to view global local. Click this to go into local view. We'll click this to go into front view. And local view is just a view that lets you focus on the task at hand. Everything is still here outside of a local view. It's very useful. What we're going to do now is press Shift D to duplicate this UV sphere. And I didn't click or push anything. I mean, well, I just pulled this out to the side just to make sure that it's duplicated, right? I'm going to right click so it jumps right back. I'm now going to press S.94, left click to lock in. And what that did was that made the duplicated cube be 94% of this original UV sphere that you see right here. So that second duplicated UV sphere is currently inside of this still selected. So what we're going to do is press R to rotate on the x-axis 90, left click to lock in. When we rotated it, you can see it trying to push through a little bit right here. Okay, so we're going to press A to deselect that now, and then we're going to press I'm going to go here for face select. We're going to press C for paint select. You want to be careful when you do paint select that you're not by accident grabbing onto that inside sphere, which you can see a little bit here coming through. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. Go to paint select again. Now we're going to click here to go back to front view. I'm going to press X to bring up the delete menu. Choose faces to delete the faces. You can see the second eye waiting in there now. I'm going to select one face here. Press Control L. When you select the face in Blender and press Control L, it allows you to select the entire object or all the pieces that are attached to this object. We're going to select here to go to right view. We're going to change our pivot point from Blender's default median point to the 3D cursor. With that done, we're going to press R to rotate. We're rotating up just like this. This is going to be an eyelid. I'm rolling the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to press A to deselect. We're going to go to edge select. Hold Alt to select this edge loop right here. Press E to extrude. Left click to create new geometry. Then hit S to scale to bring it in. This is giving us thickness to this eyelid. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press Control P to put a loop cut right here because I want this eye to be sharp. Push that up, not totally to the edge, but a hair short of the edge is where I like it. I'm going to press Control R to put yet another loop cut. Push it right up to there. Now with that done, I'm going to go back to face select, select here, press Control L to select this entire eyelid. Okay, just like before, we're going to press Shift D. We're going to duplicate that eyelid. We're going to press R to rotate, bring it about to there. Hold the middle mouse button, turn to this view, hit A to deselect. With face select still 1, we're going to press C for paint select. We're going to select all right here. We're going to turn this pivot point back from the 3D cursor to a medium pivot point. We're going to hold the middle mouse button so we have a 3D view. We're going to press S to scale on the Y axis, -1. Left click to lock in. We'll pull this back just slightly like that. Holding the middle mouse button to turn. Rolling the middle mouse button to zoom in and holding Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. We're now going to press A to deselect, C to just select this inner circle right here. Holding the middle mouse button just to turn slightly. I'm going to press E to extrude on the Y axis. Just like that. I'm going to press S to scale it in some. I'm going to push back a little bit. I'm going to then go to the... I'm clicking here just to move this manipulator out of the way. I'm going to click here. Pull that in a little bit more. I'm going to press Control R. I want this nice and sharp, so I put another loop cut right next to there, which tends to make things sharp. I want this sharp, so what I'm going to do is press Control R, put a loop cut here, and then because I only clicked one time, I'm able to move it. I'm going to move it right up, just a hair short of being totally pushed against there. And now we're going to press A to select everything. We're going to go to our modifier menu, click here, choose subdivision surface. I'm going to take this up to 1. I'm going to click here so it looks like it's applied. Then I'm going to press Z to apply smooth shading. Okay, now we're going to click here to go out of whoops. We're going to click here to go back in the global view. Click here to go in object mode. Actually, we're going to come back to edit mode. We're going to press S to scale. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to press Shift C. And what that does is that puts the 3D cursor. I'm going to go to object mode. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan, roll the middle mouse button to zoom in, Shift and the middle mouse button to pan. That puts the Shift C put the 3D cursor right here. So if I click front and push back, whoops. Okay, there's front ortho. You can see it's directly there in the center. And what that allows me to do is because it's directly here in the center, I'm going to change the pivot point to the from the medium point to back to the 3D cursor. I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate another eyeball. I'm going to right click so it snaps back. Now I'm going to press S to scale on the X axis, -1, and left click to lock in. And because we have this pivot point turned on, we were able to do that move. So we'll click here, turn this back to medium point. Okay, so now he has eyes, so let's give him some teeth. So for that, what we're going to do is we're going to hold it, Shift in the middle mouse button to pan. We're going to right click right here. Wherever the 3D cursor is at is where objects tend to come into in Blender. We're going to press Shift A. We're going to bring in a cube. We're going to go to edit mode for the cube. We're going to press W to bring up our specials menu. We're going to choose subdivide. We're going to look over to our left to our subdivision menu options. We're going to go from the number cuts to 1 to 3. We're going to click here to go into local view. Click here to go in the front view. We have our pivot point directly in the center here, or our orange dot. It's escaping my mind right now, but you want this right in the center here. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press Z to go to wireframe. I'm going to go to box select. I'm going to press, click here to go to face select. Press B for box select. Grab this half right here. I'm going to press X to delete that half. Bring up the delete menu. Choose faces to delete that half. Click here to add a mirror modifier. I'm going to select clipping and click here so it looks like it's applied. And if you made it this far into this tutorial, I'm assuming that you're probably or hopefully not saying, my gosh, he's flying fast, because it's probably, you've probably been, if you made it this far, you've probably been watching this thing for pretty substantial amount of time, so I'm just trying to do it as well as I can do it right now and do it fairly quickly. So let me stop rambling. I'm going to press A to select the cube. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis. Bring it in about like that. Left click to lock in. We're going to click here to go to top view. We're going to press S to scale on the Y axis to bring it about like that. We're going to press R to rotate like this. Now we're going to press A to deselect. Press B for box select. Grab all these faces here. Press R to rotate like this. Left click to lock in. Press A to deselect. I'm going to hold Control and the right mouse button to select right here. I'm going to press E to extrude. I'm going to take this up this way with the manipulator, push this way some, and then I'm going to press R to rotate here. I'm actually going to hit A to deselect. Press and hold Control and the right mouse button so I can do a loop select. Push in here just a little, and press A to deselect. Okay, I'm gonna press B for box select. Whoops. Go to vertice select. I'm gonna press B for box select. Grab all these vertices here. I'm gonna press R to rotate some more. I'm gonna press E to extrude. Push over like this. I'm gonna press S to scale on the Y axis 0 to totally flatten that out. I want 2 more segments. I'm going to press E to extrude, a Y-axis like this, then E to extrude on the Y-axis 1 more time like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is hold the middle mouse button. We're going to press the turn, press Z to go to solid view. We're going to press C, go to face select first, press C. We're going to select all of these top faces right here. We're going to right click to get out of the paint select. We're going to press X to bring up the delete menu and then select faces to delete. We're then going to hold the Alt button with face select on and select right. Like if I select right on this edge, it grabs that entire top loop of faces. I'm now going to press Alt S and pull just like that. I'm now going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold Alt, stay with face select on. I'm going to select right here, press Alt S right here, just like that. Left click to lock in. Okay, now I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to look under here. I'm going to press C for paint select. I'm going to select all of this right here. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis 0 to flatten that out. I'm going to go for this second row of faces here. I'm going to temporarily turn off this clipping because we're about to make the teeth and I want a space in between the 2 front teeth right there. So I'm going to press Alt E to bring up our extrude menu. We're going to select individual faces and pull straight down just slightly. Left click to lock in. I'm going to change this pivot point to individual origins and then I'm going to press S to scale. Be careful not to shrink too much because this is your spaces between your teeth, so you want there to be enough space to see that there's spaces but not too much so it doesn't look right. So we're going to left click to lock in. Now you're going to press E to extrude on the Z axis like that, and then what we're going to do is hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to select right here, so we're in right orthographic mode. We're going to press A to select everything. We're going to turn our clipping back on. We're going to click here. We're going to add a subdivision surface modifier, which smooths everything out, which we want the gums to be smooth. You can see there's an issue here with the teeth. Fairly easily dealt with in Blender. What we're going to do is press Z to go to wireframe so we can select the teeth that we see here and the teeth that are behind here. We're going to press B for box select, select right here, and what we're going to do is press Shift E, and then we're going to pull, and you can see that line getting pink, and what that line is doing is it's making the teeth harder again. So we're going to left click to lock in. When I click here, you can actually see like the subdivision surface modifiers apply. I'm going to click here to take the view up to 2. So now when I press Z and go to solid, you can see, okay, we have our gums and we also have our teeth looking fairly hard. So I'm going to press A to select them, press Z, and then go to shade smooth. Alright, so with that done, okay, what we're going to do now is press Shift D to duplicate these teeth. I'm going to right click so they go right back to where they were first duplicated at. I'm going to push them down. And then to make these face the right direction, I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis, -1. Left click to lock in, and you can see that they have like kind of this funny shading to them. It's because Blender is aware of which direction polygons are facing, and typically when you do this move, Blender gets confused about the normal. The way you fix this is one way to fix it is by pressing Control N. It recalculates the normals. That worked in this situation. If by some chance it doesn't work, you can press W and also try flip normals. And if Control N doesn't work, typically for me anyway, flip normals works. Okay, now what we're going to do is click this, turn this pivot point back to the median point. We're going to move these teeth up closer to the other teeth. We're going to click here, go to object mode. We're going to click here to come out of local mode back into the global view mode that we're used to. Okay, remember we set up a vertex group when we shut this mouth, shut the mouth on this character. We're going to select the character. We're going to go into edit mode. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn like this. You can see the eye is still selected, so you're going to press A to deselect there, press A again to select everything, press A again to make sure everything is deselected. We're now going to click right here. Here's the vertex group we set up, so we're just going to choose select. And now with that set up, we're going to right click right here, change the pivot point from the median point to the 3D cursor, and we're going to press R to rotate on the X axis like this, just so we can have an easier time placing our teeth. We're going to click here, go back to object mode, select here, turn this back to the pivot, change the pivot point back to the median point. Okay, now we're going to select this teeth, staying in this set of teeth, staying in object mode. We're going to move this over here. We're going to select front view, put that dot right in the center. We're going to push this down to here. Then we're going to press S to scale. Readjust these teeth. You can see from our 3D viewport, the 3D look here, by turning like this, the teeth are set pretty far back, so we're going to push them forward like this. Just as the scale, a little bit smaller. Just as the scale. Okay, we'll keep them about like that. Okay, now we're going to select our main character again, click here, go to edit mode. I'm actually going to click here and go back into scope mode. Select our tools right here, go to our grab brush. Just do some more adjustments to our character here. We're going to click here, go to edit mode. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go to edge select. We're going to grab here and here. It's here as well. We're going to press Shift D. Left click to lock in. We're going to push this forward just very slightly. We're going to go to vertice select, and we're going to press E to extrude on the Z axis. Come up just like that. It's just an easy way to form eyebrows. We're now going to press Control L. Push over like this. Then we're going to press E to extrude and just let them extrude out on the axis they're on. Left click to lock in. Press Control L to grab the entire eyebrow we just made. Now you're going to press Z. To bring up this menu, choose Shade Smooth. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to go to Edge Select. Select right here. Out a little. I select right here, push this up some. Select here. Push that in some. Deal with this right here. Take this vertice, push this out some. Okay, we're going to go to Edge Select. We're going to select right here. Push this in some. And see that little piece right there keeps popping out. If you have an issue like this, what you can do is select it, right? Press Alt O for Connected Proportional Edit. And that Connected Proportional Edit will make this and everything connected to it move. So we'll press G on the X axis, shrink this down some, and then just push that in. And that should hopefully let us get away from that. So I'm going to click to disable this. Pulling and pushing and pulling edges and vertices again. We have vertices select. We'll push this down here. Just pushing and pulling vertices. You get caught up. You can get caught up. I have to remind myself I'm doing a tutorial. So this is when it's actually fun. Not that other parts aren't enjoyable, but I find this particularly enjoyable. What we're going to do now is we're going to select our lower jaw. We still have our 3D cursor right there, so we're going to click pivot point, change that to the 3D cursor. I'm going to press R to rotate on the X axis. Not totally shut his mouth, but shut it a little bit more. And click A to deselect. Okay, so we'll click here, turn this back to the medium pivot point. I'm actually going to go to Object Mode, select the teeth. There we go. I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button. Let's take a look at this hand. So we'll click here, go to Edit Mode. Whoops. Here, go to Object, select the character first, then go to Edit Mode. One of the things to adjust the hand is you want to kind of grab these knuckle pieces and like pull up like this. Trying to go underneath here to give them shape. I'm going to tell myself I'm doing a tutorial because you can definitely get caught up. Small details. This right here. Grab the manipulator. Push this back some. This here. Same thing on this side. We'll select these here. Push these up some. Select here. Hold shift. Holding shift and middle mouse button to pan. Do the same thing with the thumb here. Grab here. Pull that up some. Grab underneath. Pull that up some like that. Small adjustments. And obviously the more time you spend, the better results you'll get. I'm going to just leave them as they were. I wanted to give you guys an idea that are new. It doesn't take too much. After the initial work is done to get things looking better. Just a slight bend seems to give them a lot. Here and take a look at them. Okay, what we're going to do now is give them some quick hair. So we're going to click here, go in edit mode. We're going to go to face select, hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. We're going to press C, select all of this right here. Press C again. Select all of that. I guess we'll select this also. So we have all of that selected. Now what we're going to do is press Shift D. And we duplicated what we just selected. Now we're going to press Alt S. Pull down, scale up some. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to press P to bring up our separate menu. We're going to choose separate by selection. So now we're going to click here to go in object mode, and when we just did that, we made that hair piece a separate object. So we're going in the object mode to select that hair piece as an object. And what we're going to do is click here to go in edit mode for it. We're going to press A to select it. We are going to go to our modifier menu. We're going to click here, and we're going to put a subdivision. Sorry, not a subdivision, a solidify modifier on it right here. And what that does is it just takes away that paper look and gives it thickness. So we're going to scroll down here. I'm going to hover my mouse here, pull this out some. And here you can, let me pull it out more so you can see it. You can increase the thickness of the subdivision, not subdivision, of the solidify. So we'll make it a little bit thicker there. Okay, now what we're going to do with that done is we're going to go to edge select. We're going to select this edge right here. Hold shift. I'm going to roll the middle mouse button to zoom in. I'm going to hold shift and the middle mouse button to pan. Select this edge right here. All the way down. And we're going to press Control B. Like that. I'm then going to press Control R to put a loop cut down the center here. We're going to left click the lock and in, and we're going to push down a little bit, then we're going to press S to scale it down. Some we're going to do the same thing here. Actually, we're going to hold Alt and select here. See if we can get that. Hold. Let me select here. I just selected here just to move this manipulator, and I'm going to hold Alt here. Because it went down a decent amount of the way. So now we're going to hold Shift. Select this right here. Hold the middle mouse button to rotate. I'm going to press Control B to bevel. Left click the lock in. I'm going to press Control R to put a loop cut right here. Left click to lock in. Left click again, totally lock in. I'm going to hit S to scale. And it just gives us, this gives us some fairly quick hair with a little bit of flair to it. And we can even grab this edge here. Pull this down some. It's weird. We can, because we have a mirror modifier on it, it's doing everything symmetrical, which it first helped out, but now is being a hindrance to us. So what we can do is we can go here and we can apply this mirror modifier. So we'll click here. We have to go to object mode. We'll click here, go to object mode, click apply. So now this no longer has a mirror modifier on it. So when we come back into edit mode, we can select here and it will only work on this part of hair. So I'm going to press O for the proportional edit tool. I'm going to press G and then Z. Then roll the mouse wheel. Press G. Just to give him some slight variety in his hair. Go to vertices, select here. Press G. Push this out here. Okay, so now we're going to click here to go to object mode. We're going to select our main body. If you want these bicep muscles to really be extremely sharp, we can click here, go into edit mode, go to edge select. We're going to turn off this proportional edit tool. We're going to select right here, all around this bicep. We're going to press Control B for bevel, like that. Then we're going to press Control R to put another loop cut there. I'm going to press Control R, put a loop cut here. Press Control R. So we're putting a loop cut right in that bevel. And that'll give us our sharpness. Now when we click back into object mode, you can see how much sharper that is there. And it's the same thing for the rest of the muscles of the arm. And even like here is not so much. We can click in here because we have that definition now. We can come in here and we can select that line right there. Just push in some. Now we'll come back to object mode. You can see that's super sharp. Actually, it's too sharp. We'll come back here, pull that up some. For this, we want to do the same thing here. Actually, for this, we're just going to press Control R, select there, press S to scale, and we have, you know, super hard muscles here. As a matter of fact, let me, this is one technique you can use. Do the face select here, hold shift, select here, push this down how it was before. Then we'll come to object modes. We have that, you know, nice super hard there. We can always go to sculpt mode, go to smooth, make sure it's down low, like around, like it is 140, and then we can still have a hardness but control just how hard this is. And pretty much wherever you want the muscles to be sharper, you can do that. So we'll just click here. Okay, and there we go. And for those of you who have made it this far, congratulations. You made it to the end. I hope you got something out of this tutorial. For all you guys out there who like the videos on this channel and reshare them, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. And to those of you who are new to this channel, if you like the videos on this channel and you would like to see more, please subscribe, and thank you for viewing.